Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scotty B Show. Today, Navy orders force-wide housing inspections after Secretary appalled by Guam Barracks condition. This is by Drew F. Lawrence. Navy Secretary John Phelan visited Guam earlier this month and was appalled after seeing the conditions of an Air Force barracks where junior service members were living, prompting an ongoing Navy-wide inspection of more than 100,000 barrack units, according to a government watchdog and service officials. Conditions included exposed wires, corroded plumbing, and dilapidated walls splattered with paint to cover mold. After Phelan's visit, more than 70 Marines and sailors were moved out of the Palau Hall Barracks, PALAU, I apologize, a housing facility at Anderson Air Force Base. Another 77 airmen there are in the process of being relocated in anticipation of a $53 million renovation scheduled to start later this year, an Air Force spokesperson told military.com on Friday. The Project on Government Oversight, a Washington, D.C. based watchdog group, obtained images of the squalid housing and correspondence sent by the Navy's head of installations, who ordered all regional commands to inspect the barracks by the end of May. The Navy official, Vice Admiral Scott Gray, noted that the Hall barracks were way outside of any reasonable standard and that the conditions were a failure of leadership across multiple echelons of command, according to the documents. Not all of the inspections have been completed, the Navy told military.com Friday, but are expected to be finished by the end of June. Following his visit May 1st and 2nd, Phelan ordered Marines and sailors to be moved out of the Air Force owned barracks within 10 days and that new housing aboard. Marine Corps Base Camp Blaz, BLAZ, be opened about a month ahead of schedule in response to the conditions, according to Pogo and confirmed by the Navy. I actually thought the buildings were condemned, Phelan told Pogo in an interview. When we pulled up to them and saw what shape they were in, I was shocked. Days later, on May 5th, Gray sent the email with photos of the barracks conditions attached, directing the worldwide inspection and adding that if you would not want a sailor's mother/family visiting them at the housing unit, then you have a problem that needs to be addressed. Fix it. The inspections are meant to ensure our sailors are residing in unaccompanied housing that meet living standards regardless of if they are Navy owned or not. Leslie Gould, the Fleet and Family Readiness Director for the Services Installation Command, told military.com in an emailed statement Friday. The hall is Air Force owned, but it is not uncommon for troops from different branches to stay in cross service housing. The Navy's inspections include barracks where sailors are living, but that are operated by other branches. There are more than 104,000 unoccupied housing units across the Navy, Gold said. They are given a red, yellow, or green designator following a multi-liter inspection of the barracks, exterior, common areas such as kitchens and laundry rooms, and quarters, according to Gray's email. Within the yellow category, Gray urged leaders to apply the Washington Post test, meaning that if the pictures you have taken or the results of your assessment conducted of a particular facility were published online tomorrow, would you be able to personally justify sailors living there? Gold said that housing facilities deemed to be red will result in a sailor being immediately removed from the barracks. Those identified as yellow will be prioritized for restoration. She said that there are currently no sailors or Marines living in Air Force owned barracks on Guam, having been relocated to Blaz facilities that the Joint Region Marianas Commander Rear Admiral Brett Matus inspected all other barracks on the U.S. territory and found that they were not below standards. Renee Kladzik, a senior investigator at Pogo and former reporter El Paso Matters in Texas, told Military.com in a phone interview Friday that her reporting stemmed from a tip the organization received this month. I think it's pretty well known that the problems in barracks conditions are quite pervasive. It's not unique to Guam, she said. When talking about barracks conditions, often we're talking about single, more junior service members who may be in a culture where they are kind of told or taught that they should just be willing to tough it out. Exposed wiring has very real fire hazard risks. Mold can have a range of severe health impacts that often can be really hard to directly tie. She added, it's worth mentioning that there are very serious dangers connected to not maintaining housing facilities. The Marine Corps announced last month that Marines and sailors began relocating into new barracks at Camp Blas from Anderson, citing testimony from troops calling it a huge upgrade, but did not disclose that the move was a result of poor conditions. Luckily, we were in a position to move them out of the Air Force barracks into the new built Marine Corps barracks. Captain Brenda Leenders, a spokesperson for the Marine Corps, told Military.com on Friday, adding that there are 9 barrack facilities still in the construction phase on Guam. After publication, the Marine Corps provided a statement citing concerns that this article did not adequately distinguish Marines' barrack conditions from sailors. The Marines' rooms were always safe and within standard because of the discipline, efforts, and dedication of our individual Marines and their unit's leadership. When asked why the Marines were moved, spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Josh Benson said, we follow lawful orders. The service did not dispute the overall condition of the facility, but Benson noted that Marines were scheduled to depart soon anyway. That plan was accelerated by the Secretary of the Navy. Barracks conditions for junior troops have been squalid for years as many service leaders recognize that upkeep and funding for their living conditions fell by the wayside as pressing operational needs took priority during 20 years of the global war on terrorism. In 2023, the Government Accountability Office found that barracks across the service were infested by mold, rodents, raw sewage, general dilapidation, leaving tens of thousands of young troops in substandard living conditions. While many of the services have said they are continuing to prioritize and fund fixing and building new barracks, Military.com reported on Wednesday that the Pentagon will shift $1 billion meant for Army barracks maintenance and renovation to its southern border mission. The One Big Beautiful Bill, legislation working through Congress, meant to help enact President Donald Trump's agenda, allocates another roughly $1 billion for barrack maintenance and improvements. That funding would be split between the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Space Force, resulting in a net loss here for them on an uphill battle for quality of life initiatives. Rob Evans, creator of Hot and Cots, an app where service members can leave reviews about facilities, told Military.com on Friday. They're all impacted by this, and I would love to hear some sort of steps forward on what the Secretary of Defense's agenda is for addressing this stuff, because this will impact retention and this will impact recruiting, he added. The Air Force spokesperson said that the service is committed to providing safe and adequate living conditions for its service members, adding that it is prioritizing barracks restoration as part of a 4-year dorm master plan and had allocated roughly $115 million to 4 dormitories at Anderson. They noted that Typhoon Mawar in 2023 caused severe damage to facilities there. The service has a $49.5 billion backlog in maintenance and repair efforts. Michael Saunders, acting Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Energy, Installations, and Environmental, recently told Congress. In recent years, service leaders have tied troop quality of life conditions to urgent strategic efforts, recruiting, and retention. Guam, located in the Western Pacific, is also a key strategic asset for the militaries ability to project power amid escalating tension between the U.S. and China. Maintenance and repair funding levels have not kept pace with the rising costs of construction, leading to the compounding sustainment costs, widespread degradation, and increases in infrastructure issues that adversely impact mission execution. Saunders said in a statement to the House Armed Service Committee, noting that those conditions make installations vulnerable to adversaries and place mission generation at risk. So there you have it. Thanks for stopping by. Y'all have a great day, great night, whatever the case may be. We'll see you next time on the Scotty B Show.